There's this myth floating around that if you're starting a business, you need to be on every single platform all at once, right from the beginning. And that myth creates a lot of unnecessary pressure. Today, I'm going to be talking about why platform focus is a strategy and not a limitation. Hello, my beautiful entrepreneurs. My name is Tabitha Bear, and this is A Hot Mess Builds an Empire, the Chaos to Cash series. I let you know at the beginning of every episode that I have absolutely no idea what it is that I am doing, but I'm doing it with the energy of someone who's tripped and is making a career out of the fall. Okay, let's talk about the myth of being everywhere. The I had the assumption, I believed in this wholeheartedly when I started my business, is that you had to be on every single platform and that being on every single platform, that visibility equaled success. I think there's also this thought that if you're on every single platform, it equals more opportunities to reach people and connect people and brand partnerships and whatever it is that you're after. But when you are just starting out, it's just not true. It's just not true. Trying to be everywhere spreads your energy thin. It creates lower quality content, and your consistency really takes a hit on that. So, being everywhere is not the same thing as being effective. So, you're probably thinking, well, what should I be doing at the beginning? Listen, what actually matters at the beginning is quality content, focusing on the quality of your products and or services, making sure you have a clear voice, and you just want a way for people to be able to find you and your message. None of this requires 6 social media platforms. It really doesn't. So you want to work with platforms that are working with you, not against you, right? So you want to choose platforms based on how you naturally communicate, what is easiest for you to show up on, and how your brand is best represented. If YouTube feels daunting, I wouldn't go there. If you are a wordy person, Threads might be for you. If you like pictures and static posts and maybe adding a little bit of music to stuff, reach out to Meta, right? If you are into short form video content, then maybe lean into TikTok and YouTube shorts. Ease matters, especially at the beginning. It really does. You also want to let some of these platforms do the work for you, like utilizing Meta, for instance. You can post once on Meta. You can even schedule it through Facebook. You don't have to get additional apps for this. You can post through the Facebook Business Suite dashboard thing, and you can post to both, to not just both, but to Instagram, Facebook, and Threads all at the same time. Now, if you go past a certain character count, you can't post to all of them, but you know what I mean? Like, you can make it easier on yourself by leaning into the features that are offered to you naturally through different social media platforms. So, why does trying to do everything backfire? I've tried to show up on multiple platforms all at once, and I have failed a lot. And I tried to do that every time I was pivoting or evolving or changing something or launching something. And it's so much to keep up with while also trying to engage with people, stay committed to like a weekly newsletter or a Substack article rotation or a daily podcast or this daily YouTube series, right? If I was on every single platform, I would be going bonkers. And I used to go bonkers because I would be like, nope, got to be on TikTok. Nope, got to be on Reels, got to be on Threads, got to be on this. And you try to keep up with like now there's Blue Sky and Lemonade or something like that. And there's just so much going on with all these platforms, and there's new ones launching all the time. And then there's like politics behind the platforms that are available. It's just exhausting. It's downright exhausting trying to keep up with this pressure that is going to kill your consistency. So just lean into the one that speaks best to you. listen, you don't need 74 platforms. You really don't, especially if you want to have a website, which you should. You should definitely have a website. I'm just throwing that out there. But if you have a website and you happen to have a newsletter and you also want to be on social media, that already is a lot. It's already a lot because you're also, maybe you're a coach and you're investing your time into coaching calls for people and trying to be on social media and trying to have a newsletter and trying to have a website. You don't need every option inside each category, right? So you have to think of it in the time, like in time. We've been talking about time the last couple of days, and the thing is that more channels equals more maintenance. More channels and more platforms equals different styles of how you're supposed to be posting things, different type of copy that you have to write to go on certain things, right? Like TikTok doesn't take a lot of copy, but you can write a novel of a post on Facebook. Threads has a cap, but they also have options where you can make longer posts. And, you know, your time is limited. We've been talking about time all week, and especially when you're starting out, you're doing this part time, or you're in school, or you have a full time job, you have family obligations. We've talked about this, right? And we want to be cognizant of your time. So do not feel pressured, do not believe in the myth, do not cave that you need to be on every platform, because you don't. There are two platforms that I want to highlight in this video that I think are like really good. Um, I've been on Threads and I've seen a lot of success from that, especially with World Her Story. And it's really good for podcasts because they even have like a new feature now where you can have your podcast posted in your profile. You can share your podcast link and it links really nicely, looks really good. There's a really great podcast community in Threads. And the same thing goes for authors. There's a really good um, author community in Threads. And I think it's because it's like a wordy thing, right? There are so many soon to be readers and soon to be listeners for you in that platform that I just truly think that you should gravitate towards that if those are kind of the things that you're into with your business. The other thing that I think is like truly underutilized is LinkedIn. I personally have posted a couple videos on LinkedIn and I have pages on LinkedIn. I'm not very good at posting to them, but I have several entrepreneur friends and several entrepreneur colleagues who are really committed to LinkedIn and have seen great success with their companies just because they're committed to that platform alone. They've gotten speaking engagements, full-time commitments that they were able to quit their full-time jobs, brand partnerships. There's visibility with intention there. There's thoughtful comments. It's just like a really underutilized platform to be pushing your business out there. But businesses are on that platform. So it would make sense to have your business on that platform, right? So, not trying to force you in any direction, but I'm just saying that those two platforms I wanted to note because one is underutilized and one has really great features. So, when it comes to committing to a platform, you should definitely start with just one, maybe two. If you're leaning into Meta, which it's very easy to lean into Meta, but it's very hard to grow through Meta, except for Threads. I think Threads is easier to grow with, but that's just me. Um, you want to lean into the easiest thing for you to start. You want to build momentum first and then work on expanding. Now, I do think that you should get your social media names on all these different platforms. I think you should gobble those up like candy. That's what I did with World Her Story. That's what I did with a couple other things. And I just know that I have those social media names. I have the domain names, right? Like, even if there are things that I haven't launched yet, I make sure the first thing I do is I get the social media names and domain names. And I just will eventually get to launching those things later. But just because you have the accounts doesn't mean you should feel that pressure to post to them, right? Get to them in your own time. If you're not into video, why would you try and throw yourself onto TikTok? TikTok is a video platform. There's weird stuff happening with it right now because of the current administration. You know, you just have to be cognizant of the platforms that it is that you're using and kind of what's going on with them, right? So, um, just keep it simple for yourself. Keep it simple. Stick with one, maybe two, maybe like a second backup, or maybe, like I said, if you're leaning into Meta, it's very easy to be on three platforms at once, especially utilizing the business suite. You can be on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads and just be utilizing one platform to post to all three. So there are things that you could be doing to make it easier on yourself that you wouldn't have to worry about writing three different versions of copy and, researching like a ton of hashtags. You would only need a couple. It that would make it super easy. But the thing is that if you're like really wordy and you don't want to do pictures and you don't want to do video, then stick to Threads or Blue Sky or something like that. But if you want to do pictures and just pictures, then stick to Instagram and Facebook. So, just kind of think of what it is that you want to do for your company to start off with, or what it is that you're comfortable doing to start off with. I wish Threads was a thing when I first started because, like, I have been so uncomfortable putting myself out there on YouTube and showing up every day and putting my face out there. Like, it's just not something that I have done. I have gone out of my way to not be in front of the camera, and now I'm putting myself in front of the camera. So I think for me, Threads is where I thrive because I feel my most comfortable there. So if that's what you want to do, like, then post to Threads. Don't feel like you have to be in front of the camera. I hit the microphone. Oh, I hit it. I hit it. Don't feel like you have to put yourself like in a picture every single day on Instagram or Facebook or videos on TikTok dancing to shit. You don't have to do that for your business. Like, just show up where you feel most comfortable, show up where you think your brand is going to do well. And if you're currently not on social media, or if you are personally on social media and your business is not on social media, figure out which one would work best with your business as well as you. There is a difference between how you personally show up and how you show up for your business. You know what I mean? So those are two different personalities. You have a brand, and then you have what it is you like to do with your personal accounts, right? Like, my personal account is dedicated to family and friends and watching animal videos and sometimes surgery because I'm crazy. But um my brand accounts, right, follow similar niche things. Like, my podcast accounts follow podcasts. I try to follow writers and storytellers on the other account, and like bookstores and stuff with my bookstore account. Like, it makes sense to compartmentalize that stuff. So, just think of how it is that you're showing up for your business, because this isn't going to be a friends and family account, right? Now, if friends and family follow you, that's amazing for that support, but it's different in the aspect of how you are showing up, because you're showing up for your business. You're not showing up for you personally. You know what I mean? So I hope that clarification is helpful, because I think sometimes people forget that and they think it's just going to be super easy to hop into something, and then they show up for their brand, and then it doesn't really jive with what it is that you're doing. Okay, so here's the ending moment. How does this fit into the Chaos to Cash series? Chaos to Cash. So, chaos comes from trying to do too much, right? And we're trying to take chaos and turn it into cash. Cash comes from consistency, it comes from clarity, and it comes from finished work. When you are focused on one platform, you are cognizant of your time, you are protecting it, you are protecting your energy, and you are protecting your ability to sell. You can't monetize chaos. You can't. But you can turn your chaos into sort of organized increments of what would be valuable content, valuable products and services, and throw those out into the universe on one platform. You will find your people. You really will. And if you let your people know that you're on different platforms, they will follow you there if they are on those platforms. And eventually you will start to expand to other people on different platforms. But the thing is that you want to build momentum and like a solid following on one platform first. Because when you have, say, 5 hours a week to work on your business, why would you spend all 5 hours on social media? It's already like, it can already be like a really exhausting, draining thing to be your own social media manager. You're wearing a ton of hats. You're the accountant, you're the content creator, you're the writer, you're the website designer. You're all of the things for your business when you're starting out. So why would you spend most of your time on social media? It's a lot. Protect your peace, protect your time, protect your energy, and stick to one platform. I wish I would have followed this rule when I first started my business, and I wish that people I had invested my time in early on would have told me this instead of telling me to show up everywhere, because I feel like that was really bad advice and it created just like unnecessary pressure to be on everything. There is one last thing that I want you to hear, because I think sometimes there is like maybe this feeling of FOMO if you're not on all platforms, or maybe that if you're not on all platforms, you're behind, or if you're not on all platforms, you're not doing it correctly, or you're not going to find as many customers. And I think that's just not true. So just remember, you're not behind. You're doing an amazing job. You're starting a business, you're building something from scratch. And just protect your peace from the beginning. Set boundaries for yourself from the beginning. Because when you do that, you will find that you have a much stronger structure and stronger foundation for your business. So in the comments, let me know, like, what is your business about? What do you provide? What do you do? And what platform do you think is working best for you right now? Or what platform are you committing to? Even if it's something like, hey, you know what, for the next 30 days, I'm just going to focus on Facebook. That's amazing. Let me know why. Like, what kind of conversion are you seeing from that platform? You know, and everybody else, check out the comment section and see what's working for people. Because maybe if you have a podcast, you'll find Threads is working for people with just regular podcasts, and maybe TikTok is working for people who have video podcasts, right? So, like, just share what you guys have going on and what platforms you're using, and maybe even throw out there, like, hey, I'm using PayHip, or I'm using my Stand store, or whatever it is that you're using to push your products and services. Because I think people like to see where other people are like showcasing their business. Like sometimes people have Shopify or they're doing it through their own website. So let's kind of share the details of what it is that we're doing for social media and how it is we're showing up. And I think it would just be really helpful to get that conversation going. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching. Please like this video, please subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow.